Hi everyone, Paul Richmond here, and welcome back to Learn to Paint Portraits in Acrylic. In this lesson, we are continuing with the grisaille method, only we're going to be starting to use lighter values now on the face. Happy painting! Let's do some color mixing. Today we're going to go to the other side of the value scale, the lighter values. So I've already mixed up my black again, which as a reminder is ultramarine blue and burnt umber. Or you can use black right out of the tube. And this time, I'm going to go ahead and pull out two different piles. Well, actually, that will make three if we count this first one. So we have three different piles of black. This is why I'm an art teacher, not a math teacher. Can't even count to three. In each of these piles, I'm going to add different amounts of white. So for this first one, I'm going to put about this much. So that gives us kind of a nice medium light tone. And be sure you mix it up really good because you'll get some, little spots around the color that are still maybe the unmixed, the darker, and you don't want to grab that by mistake when you think you're getting a light color. I'm actually going to pull some of this black over. I'm going to take some out of here too. And that way I'll have it in case I need to just pop in any little dark touches as I go. For here, I'm going to add even more white than I did in the first pile. You can see how just varying the amount of white that you add changes the value significantly. I'm going to add a little more. There we go. Nice lighter value there. And then last one, I'm going to even take more of this black out. Black's a pretty powerful color, and it doesn't take much of it to completely change, the direction of the color you're mixing. So it's better to start with less and add more. All right, so there's some white. I think I'm going to add even more white though, so that this will be like a really bright highlight color. Right now it feels a little too similar to this one. We can fix that. I'm also going to put out enough so that I can leave a little bit of pure white here on the end in case I want to use that for any little highlights or special touches. All right, and there are our values for today. All right, let me clean up my knife. If you're using a palette knife, be sure you wipe it off with a paper towel when you're finished so it'll stay nice and somewhat clean. All right, let's jump in. Are you ready? I'm going to go back to my bigger brush now. This is the, 3/4 inch flat brush. And I want to just start blocking in some of the tones on the face. So I'm going to start with my darkest color and come right up here next to where I left off on the shadow. And now that area is already dry. So what you want to do is just kind of paint right up to it. And then I like to take a brush, a clean brush, and you can even wet it a little bit. That can help. And just kind of work it in. Even though the value next to it is dry, you can still give this a nice soft edge. Now, another thing you can do if you want to really be able to mix it right into the dark color is mix up some more of the dark and paint it over that part to kind of reactivate the paint. But I'm just going to do it like that. All right, I see wherever you see kind of almost like a transition from the dark shadow area to the light. That's where you're really going to use your darkest value from this set. It's kind of like a medium value. All right, I see some of that down here along her jawline. And I see some of that going down her cheek right here. It might end up getting lightened a little as we go, but it's fine for now. See a little bit of it here. I think this is a really good time to again think about the sculptural qualities of the face, the dimensionality. Wherever you see shadows and highlights, that's telling you that there's a shift in the planar structure, in the angles of the subject, because it's catching the light differently in different parts. All right, I'm just taking this right on down the side of the nose. I might grab a smaller brush. When you find yourself having to work too hard, pro tip, poly pro tip, if you're working too hard to try and get your big brush into a small area, set down your brush and get a smaller one. I am saying that for my own benefit too, by the way. I am just as guilty as everybody else of picking up one brush and using that the whole time because I just don't want to take the time to set it down. But it's important to take advantage of all these brushes that you bought. It does make the job easier. All right, I see a little bit of it here. I also see some in the ear. So there's this shape. And a little bit of a shadow that comes down here. And here. Here. You go wherever you see it in the photo. I want you to trust your eye. It's good, to watch me and see what I'm doing. Obviously, that's why I'm making this video, but don't feel like you have to do exactly what I'm doing. I think part of the skill here is learning how to, look at the reference and identify these values for yourself and where you see them and how you use them. All right, so we're going to stick with just the face for now. We'll come back and do the neck later. I am going to go back to my bigger brush and get this middle value, this kind of like very light, but not the lightest yet. So I see that kind of goes to about, we'll say here. And blend that in because it's still wet, so that makes it easy. I can blend right into that gray. Oops, got a little on our eyebrow. We can fix that. If you do make a mistake, like I just did, which I totally just did to give you an example, by the way. Not really. If you do make a mistake, if it's still wet, you can get a clean brush and wet it and just wipe it off. Otherwise, you have to paint over it. But no matter what, you can fix it. And I just pull a few of those down into the eyebrow. Okay. I see a little bit of that over here. Above the eye. Where else? I see kind of this area has a little bit of it. Here. We can blend, since we still have this color, we can blend right into it. And blending, again, is just while the colors are wet, kind of mushing one color into the next. That's it. I see a little bit of it here. All right. I think that's good for the medium one. I'm going to clean out my brush and just swish it around in the water, wipe it off on a paper towel, and let's go in and hit those really light parts now. So I'm going to start right here. Blend right in. We'll come back and add some of the more subtle shadows and things in a bit, especially like right along the hairline and all of that. You're never stuck with anything, so each phase of this is just another step. Okay, bring that on down. And I'm kind of now I'm double checking. I keep looking over at the reference to make sure, but I'm pretty confident that the rest of the face that we haven't painted yet is going to be this lighter tone. All right, just blending it into that a little better. Okay. I'm just going right up to the edge and then pulling the color into whatever else is there so that it blends. You don't want to have a lot of real sharp edges on the face. Now, maybe if you were painting someone with more, wrinkles and texture on their face, then you might have some sharper edges. So, there are no rules. Just look at your subject and make your decisions based on that. Okay. We will continue this in the next lesson. That's all for now. Great work, everyone! In our next lesson, we are going to just continue right on with the grisaille method and adding highlights and details to the face. I'll see you then.